McLaughlin. I'm a reporter with the News and Record. I'm here with the award-winning Lurrie Bell. He hails from Chicago with a bit of Mississippi and Alabama. He's the son of legendary Lurrie Bell, who played the harmonica and guitar, among other things, and worked for Muddy Waters, an influence. So, summer is almost gone. Tell me a little bit about your favorite childhood memories, especially those surrounded by some of those folks.
Well, my childhood memories that I can remember was something else to me and meant the world to me was trying to learn how to play a guitar. And, I found out that I had the ear for music, which I probably got from all this, because he was money and all of it.
Hold your mics closer.
Yeah.
You too, Nancy.
So, my favorite memory is when I was in, going to school, and the most, exciting thing that I can remember in my childhood days was I always, something about music I always dug, and before I knew it, I was playing guitar and traveling and recording and playing around the world,
So you said you were just a few years old and you picked up your dad's guitar. You described it as a magical moment. Tell me about picking it up for the first time.
Well, they had a band rehearsing in my father's house.
Hold your mic up.
They had a band rehearsing in my dad's house in Chicago, and I was there, and they sounded pretty good to me back then, The band was sounding good, and I said, yeah, I was getting into the music and patting my feet, and there was a guitar laying down there. I said, I'm gonna pick this guitar to see can I play along with the guys, And I found out I could do it,
Wow, so you hit a few strings and...
Before I knew it, I had learned the blues. Yeah.
Now, you said that they called you a blues prodigy. And when did you turn from just playing music to actually considering yourself a bluesman, a professional?
Well, once I learned how to play music, and I got my confidence built up, and at that time, I was hanging around so many blues musicians, in Chicago, older guys, traditional cats, and they inspired me to practice the guitar on a professional level and make a career out of it. And before I know it, I was making pretty good money playing the blues, and working with my dad's people and his friends, and my grandfather, was a piano. That running my family for somehow or another, that's what I was meant to do, I guess, because when I learned how to pick the guitar and solo and sing, it all came together. So,
how did you go from, did you play the guitar solely and then start singing, or did you do both? Did you realize you had vocal talents as well?
Well, once I learned and it came to my ear that I could do a blues song, it started out just playing the blues instrumental and learning the structure of blues first, and then the singing company.
So you were in your teens playing and traveling. What was that like?
Oh, that was something else. That was something else because, I was younger then, and being and going to these different strange towns and cities and working with some I worked with some amazing artists in my lifetime, you know. And to me, you know, being able to go to all these different places and do something that enthused me as an artist, as a musician, you know. And what really made it happen, it pays the bills. So, you know, I found out that I could make a living at doing this, and you know, I've been just about around the world, and music has, I must, you know, say that it has taken care of me, you know, over the years, you know.
And so, tell us about some of those gigs. What are some of the memorable ones?
Well, one of the most special jobs that I did in my lifetime was I was working with a lady who was known as the Queen of the Blues. I don't know if you all might know her, Coco Taylor. Yeah, and we got a chance to go to Europe and play for the Queen of England, and we toured the East Coast and the West Coast, and I've had such great times working with a lady with her caliber, you know, and she taught me a lot, even though she's gone now, but I know that Coco was there somewhere, you know.
What did she teach you, or how did she influence you?
But she taught me how to play behind a blues vocalist, a lady female vocalist, you know.
How do you do that? What's different?
Well, the difference is you got to listen, and then you got to compliment her as a singer, and then, you know, she had me do my own show too. I did 2 or 3 numbers on her show myself, you know, and you know, me doing my own show with Coco Taylor, and to me, Coco was one of the greatest female blues vocalists that I ever had the pleasure of working with.
Well, I know a lot of your fans out here have their favorite song, but I really like The Devil Ain't Got No Music. Now, are you taking us to church here?
Well, I got a friend that's a good friend of mine, and me and him, you know, we've been knowing each other for a certain amount of years, and he used to tell me about he found out some things, because I used to live in Mississippi and Alabama, and I attended church a lot there, you know. And one day, you know, I said to myself, man, since you know all these things about me when I was in the South, let's do a gospel record. So he produced it. So he wrote the song, The Devil Ain't Got No Music, and that's the title. We named that on the Devil Ain't Got No Music CD title track.
So what's the meaning behind it?
Well, you know, everybody, you know, go through changes, you know, and a lot of people, you know, get you know, kind of misled in life, and a lot of things go wrong with them. So I wanted to make something and prove to the people that even though we're going through changes, you know, and Satan, the devil, he go through hell, you know. But you know, if I made a statement that said the devil ain't got no music, that's why it's home is hell, you know. And I'm talking about, you know, even though we all go through changes, you know, even though old man Satan can understand, you know. So I wanted to project that and get the blues listeners to give an idea on what they thought about that, you know, song.
So we know you're influenced by gospel. What are the other genres that you put in your music?
Well, I do a little jazz. I play a little jazz songs. People like Wes Montgomery and Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald. I follow those people. George Benson and you know, of course, I love me some R&B and soul. I do a little bit of that too. maybe a little Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, or Marvin Gaye, or The Temptations.
Are there any new school artists that you listen to?
Yeah, well, I listen to, when I'm back home in Chicago, you know, I listen to a lot of music that's on the radio, like soul music and hip hop and rap.
Who's your rapper? Who's your favorite rapper?
Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper. Okay, Chicago. Now, tell me a little bit about recording with your dad. You were on his last recording. What was that like, and has it taken on an even greater significance over time?
Yes. Well, the last recording was with one of the oldest record labels out of Chicago, which is known as Delmark Records. And my dad used to work with Delmark Records before I was even born. So, you know, just doing a record with my father, with that particular record label, really done a lot for me and inspired me to, you know, to keep doing what I'm doing, you know. And we recorded that my dad was at an elderly age of 70-something, and soon after that, you know, a few years after that, he passed on. But, you know, that was something else to be able to record and work with my father just before, you know, he passed on.
You know, sometimes things take on a greater significance over time. What does that recording mean to you today?
It means that there's always something to look for in music that goes pretty deep with me, you know, with my father and my brothers, and it runs in my blood, you know, and it inspires me to never stop playing music, because to me music makes the world go round. We all of us need music, you know. You know, teenagers, grown people, children, you know, pets love music. You know, it's a universal language, so, you know.
Well, let me make sure. Can y'all hear? Your dad, where did he come from? Was it?
My dad was from a little town right outside of Columbus, Mississippi, called Macon, Mississippi.
Now, you were nominated for a Grammy this year. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is it true what they say? Is it true what they say, that it's great just being nominated? Or
Yeah.
did you really want to win?
Yeah. But, you know, it done wonders for me, you know, it made me feel proud and good, you know, to be nominated, you know, for something, you know, that's important to me, like music, and to be nominated for a Grammy and win, that was very, very special for a guy like me.
Now, there is a new generation of blues singers and musicians. What advice do you give them? From looking back over your life, what advice would you give them today?
Well, my advice to the young generation that's coming up, especially the young generation that's into music, you know, never give up. You know, I've seen some days where I thought I had to quit doing what I was doing. But, you know, I found out, you know, for some reason, you know, God made it a way that I didn't have to go through those changes, and He you know, when stuff like that happens, you learn from your mistakes. So I learned how to keep working and never stop playing music. If I want to do something that I like to do, and I don't have to do something that I dislike, like a job, 40 hours a week.
Well, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to see if the audience has a couple of questions. You own your own label?
No, I do not own my own label.
But you play for?
I got my own, my one particular CD that is It's named it after my daughter, you know. But it's not a record label. It's just I'm doing it on this one particular recording company.
Okay. Well, when you look back over everything, the Grammy, and you've been named the top blues musician 7 out of the last 8 years, I believe. What would you say to that boy who first picked up that guitar?
Well, I would say, you know, continue to lend an ear to music. Try to go to the record stores and buy some records, and this is just something that you like, and project it and put it in your own style of how you want to play it.
So you've enjoyed your career.
Yes, I have.
Now I'm going to go into the audience and see if there are people who have questions. Anyone with a question?
This was the first time I heard you, and your whole band was fabulous. I mean, it was mind-blowing. I'm from the South. I thought his dad's got to be from the South. He's got to be from the South. So I just was wondering where your dad was from. But how long have y'all been playing together? Because you were like a family up there. You just look at each other and you know what you're doing. I mean, how'd you get that way? Is it years and years of being together?
Well, I worked with my dad on a professional level for about 30 years. Yeah, and we some about me and my father, we had a bond, you know, and it just came together, you know.
What about the people who you're playing with today? How did y'all gel? Have y'all been playing for a long time?
Yeah, well, we knew each other, you know, like the band that I'm with now, we've been together for about 10 years, you know. And, you know, a lot of us, you know of, you know, the blues talent, you know, out of Chicago. We all from Chicago, the band, you know, and you know, it's, I'm proud of that, you know, because I think we got a good band, and those guys, you know, I don't care what I want to play, or I can always depend on them to carry me through.
I think we have time for one more question.
Now that we've heard you in person, and I've loved you for a long time, I'm a blues aficionado. Will you come back to Greensboro and let us show you our love for you again, please?
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to go back. If I didn't have to go back to Chicago, I will stay here.
You do know Bob Margolin from Muddy Blues?
Yeah, I know Bob Margolin.
He is here now. He lives here. We would love to have you join us as well.
Oh, yeah. If you happen to see Bob Margolin, tell him I say hi. And I've had a great time here.
Well, I thank you all for coming. Thank you for coming, girl, and don't forget you made the promise to come back.
Yes, yes. And ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed my stay here since I've been here, out here in North Carolina. I love it out here in North Carolina because, you know, when you're in a big city like Chicago and the lights and traffic, you know, sometimes you need to get out to a place like here. You all have a great festival going on here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.